And here's a photo being sent to me by Qanit. I hope I say your name correctly. He's been a long time supporter of this channel, and I'm going to edit this photo. He actually sent me 2 photos, which is this one. This is the second photo. Now here's the JPEG. This looks absolutely amazing. It's an awesome photo, but whatever I did, I was never able to replicate that. So unfortunately, I can't work on this photo because it just simply looks horrible when I work on it. But maybe there's someone in the community who can. Let us know down below. Right, and here is his version again. So I'm not going to try and replicate this, but I'm trying to do this better. Right, I'm going to click this away and we're going to start editing on this photo. Now, first what we see is that the exposure is too low. It's very dull. It's got some haze. So those are things that we need to work on. So I'm going to increase the exposure very easily. I'm going to add in some contrast using the Filmic RGB. After I've clicked this auto tune levels and then going to the look tab and just increasing the contrast of this image. Right, now I want this to have more color. So I'm going to the color balance RGB module. Open that one up. Let's activate it. Then we've got the 4 ways. We've got the masks. I'm going to place the contrast fulcrum, pick color from image, and the same with the white fulcrum. And then I'm going back to the master tab and I'm going to increase the saturation of the entire image. I'm going to decrease the highlights of the perceptual brilliance grading, but I'm going to increase the midtones so that the sky stays the sky, doesn't get blown out, and then this gets a little bit more exposure as well. And I'm going to increase it in the shadows to open it up. And now this needs more color again. There we go. Now let's have a look. We're still way off, but that's okay because I want to do this better. Now, immediately what I see is that the white balance of this image is off, and we can also see that over here. So I'm going to use the color calibration tool. I'm going to create a new instance, and then I see that I need to decrease the blues so this levels out, because if all these levels are being the same, then you have the perfect white balance. So let's go to the blue and let's decrease the blue. There you go. That already looks much better. We need to increase the R's, and this really is a trial and error. So I'm not going to bore you with this. I'm just going to move these levels around to the desired value. Now, please know that if you have a dominant color in your image, so in this case, it's probably the blue from the skies and the haze and the greens, that those will always be a bit more than the rest. So the reds in this case, but that's okay. You can still get it as close to perfect if you level all of these out. Now, for me to be able to see it better, I'm going to click this as well, which is the color assessment. Now, I do want to crop this because the tree isn't in the middle. So I'm going to crop it as well once I've got the desired values. So here's a before, and then here's an after I've worked on it. So that looks good already. Now I'm going to crop the image. I'm going to crop it with my freehand, and I'm going to make sure that the tree is in the middle. Let's close it down so it automatically crops the image. Now let's deselect this to have the full image again. And now I want to work on the haze. I'm going to click this, haze removal. Now I need to add in some local contrast. I'm going to add that one in. I'm going to activate that. Let's increase it. And with every adjustment that you make sure that you keep an eye on this. So the RGB parade, because if this is going to change too much, you will have to go back to the color calibration tool and then change the values accordingly. And then I'm adding in some sharpening as well. Now please know that the right side is diffusion and the left side is sharpening. I've made a dedicated video on it, which I'll plug right here for you to check out so you can learn all about this module. Now let's close that one down as well and go to the tone equalizer. Now if you move that around this image, it will show you where the values are. So this is very dark. And then if you go to advanced and you increase this, you will see something happening over here. Now it's not something I want necessarily. A few more details in the shadows is always nice. Now let's increase this as well. And the increase or decrease can be arranged by holding Control and then scrolling away from you or towards you. Now if you don't hold Control, the increments will be much higher. And then if you hold Shift, they will be even more higher. So make sure you never overdo it, because that can completely ruin your image. Now let's go back to the color calibration one. And now let's change the values again. I want the reds to be dropped and the blues as well. My version will have a warmer cast over it, and I'm going to use the color correction one for that. I'm going to activate that, and the reason for that is because I want to give this image the feel that it was shot on a very sunny day during the summer, which means that I will bring this white point, which controls the highlights, more into the orange, and the same goes for this black dot. And it's just a very minor change, but it makes a huge difference, and you can also see it in the RGB parade. Now let's go to a before and after, and then this is the version that we started with, and then here's the version that I created of it. Now let me pull up the version that he made, which is this one. And you see that he's got more greens in the trees, but his highlights are a bit more blown out in comparison to mine. And I have a more yellow-like summer tint over it, and he's got a more morning-like glow over it. Let me know in the comment section down below which of these two you prefer the best, and I'll see you guys next time.